Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. I want to thank you all for listening and for all your support. Please subscribe and like. Our Pistons tonight won again, 114 to 197, the largest margin of victory by the Pistons this season over the Charlotte Hornets. And the Hornets have a lot of injuries, and they have 16 wins currently, and so don't know if we'll catch them, but they're in fourth place have the fourth worst record, and we're tied with 11 wins now with the Wizards for the worst record. So we'll see what happens in these next games. We have Toronto coming up Wednesday, and the Raptors are playing in Denver tonight against what a lot of people think is the odds-on favorite to win the whole NBA championship and the best team in the West. And they are leading, well, they were leading just before the half 68 to 48. The Raptors were up on Denver. So I'm hoping sometimes things like that, if they can get a big victory in Denver, then they can have a letdown when they come into Detroit and play. So we'll see what happens there. But we had Noah Sard tonight. He's still sick. He got sick last game when we were playing the Mavs on Saturday, and then he still must be sick today. But one thing I was interested in, I watch the Denver Nuggets play, and they have Aaron Gordon, and Aaron Gordon is fabulous. Of course, they have Jokic, who is arguably the best player in the NBA, and who always passes to him. But I just think that teams need to study players like that. Asar could do some things that Aaron Gordon does, and so they can watch where they position him, where he cuts. The team can watch, the coaches should watch and see how they can better utilize Asar, and Asar should watch and see what Aaron Gordon does. So anyway, that's just something I thought of when I watched them play. So another big topic right now is at the Mavs game, Troy got into it with a fan, and it's interesting that the fan he's wearing a Red Wings jersey, so he's probably not the biggest Piston fan, but he approached Troy when the Pistons were probably getting beat pretty bad, pointed at the scoreboard, and Troy just kind of shrugged his shoulders when the guy I don't know exactly what he was saying. There's some people reported that one of the other fans made some comments about listening to what he said, and then the fan came back later though and kind of went after Troy and said that you suck at your job, and then Troy said, "I'm going to kick your," and so I don't know. They ended up escorting him out of there. But my question is, it shouldn't happen. Troy should be able to sit at the game and not get attacked. And I feel guilty because in hindsight, I was at the in a game earlier this year when they played Orlando at home, and Troy was sitting right there, and they're not great seats. So it's like in the end, section 114, it's kind of in the corner in the end, and there's this place where I think when they have bigger games and playoff games that more media can sit. And so there's like a little tabletop there, and there's like some chairs there, and that's where I think probably Troy was sitting at the game against the Mavericks also. But you know what? There's some negativity in the air when the fans chant "sell the team," and that the fans aren't real happy. I think I had mentioned after that game that I wanted to say to Troy in a joking way. I was going to wait till there was a moment when he got up to leave, and so when he's on his way out, I was going to say, Troy, you need to fire Monty before you get fired. And again, I was partway telling the truth, because if Monty doesn't use his players the way that Troy wants to, he would get fired if they keep on playing crappy. But anyway, I shouldn't have said that. That would have been wrong of me to say that, and it was wrong of that fan to say that. I guess Troy should have handled himself better, but I think that there's got to be the team has to have a suite that he can sit in and watch the game and be buffered away, so that no fans can get towards him and say anything to him. So, and it's obvious, Troy has not been successful. The team is on the verge of, the worst record we've had was 16-66 in 1978 and 80 season. I remember that. So that's part of the reason why I have a perspective. But our team is way more talented than that team, so we shouldn't be coming down to that. But Anyway, so that 16 win total, that's, we have 11 now. Can we win 5 games to tie it, or we have to win 6 more games to break it, and there's not that many games left. So we'll see what happens. And there's also the thing about the lottery. And again, I'm not uh, suggesting that we tank in any way. Go win every game you can, but there is certainly, it makes a difference where you finish and what draft pick you get. And I still want Zachary Rishishai, so I will see if we can, how the draft ends up being. But Monty, Troy, excuse me, Troy. I always say the wrong name, but Troy is 71 and 29, 229. His record is, as and you would expect when he first took over and he stripped down the team that they would not be good. But again, by year 4, you would have expected them to be better. But they are looking good right now, and I still don't have faith. I still wish I had faith in Monty. He's doing better now. Only played a 9-man rotation tonight. Asar was gone. Was sick, so I don't know if he would have played 10 if Asar would have been healthy. He is cutting back on minutes, like Fournier only played 11 minutes. So I like all the things that he's doing with his disbursement of minutes and some of his rotations, and he is staggering some guys a little bit. The problem with what's hurtful in the stagger is that he's staggering Ivey, and Ivey was playing really great for most of the year, and he is in a huge slump. Other than he had that one great game, he is just, he can't. His 3-point shot is just, escaped him. He is, he's shooting horrifically from 3. So, a couple of things I want to talk about. Fontecchio, he got to start tonight, and so there's a lot of discussion among Piston fans about whether he should start because he is the better shooter. When you have Asar, Stu, and Duren, and they're not good shooters and not good 3-point shooters. Even though Stu's percentage, again, he passed up a bunch tonight and a bunch of open threes, and he was 2 for 7 on threes, but he still hesitates to shoot them. He does. I don't think he feels confident or comfortable doing it, even though he's shooting on the season, in the high 30s. So, but what are we going to do? So, Fontecchio is a restricted free agent this year, so we have to sign him. We can extend his contract and agree to a contract, or if somebody else can offer, anybody can offer him an offer sheet. But the good thing is we can match it. So, but the discussion is how much. How much is he worth? He's 28 years old. He's a phenomenal piece. He can shoot the 3. He's an elite shooter, wing player that we've needed, that we've talked about all season on this podcast. That we need guys that can defend, and he's an average to above average defender, and he gets some rebounds and some assists, but he can really shoot it, and teams have to guard him. He can also put the ball on the floor and attack the rim too and score. So he is an asset, and so we obviously have to keep him. So it'll be very fascinating. Do you think he's worth 15 million a year? That's what Stu's getting, and I think that he's more valuable than Stu. And again, I don't dislike Stu. I think Stu would be a good player to come off the bench and play the 4 and the 5, and I think he might, continue to get better at his 3-point shooting. But it'll be interesting how much we offer him. I'd like to see him get a 4-year contract, and I'd like to see 3 years guaranteed and the 4th year team option. And so it will be interesting to see what he accepts. And I think European players, as my experience watching from a distance over the league, that they value money. And so when somebody offers them, even like Bogey, when we extended Bogey for 2 years for 20 million a year, he could have been a free agent and got more, I think, but he accepted that money. So then Quentin Grimes, so it's tough, man. I was so excited that we got him, and I watched him, and I was hoping 2 years ago that we got him because I like the way he plays, but his shot doesn't even look. I haven't watched him shoot that much. I just know that he's a tough defender, and so he shot like 38% last year from 3, and he's shooting like 37% for his career. We only played 3 years, but he is shooting terrible for us. He can't make a 3. He had I think the only threes he made were when we were playing at the Knicks, and he made it only in the fourth quarter. And I think he's 0 for just like the rest of his season almost. So with the Pistons. So no, yeah. So he's 0 for 6 tonight. And that's his value is 3 and D, man. That's thought we were getting the swing, and he's a tough defender, and I love the way he moves the ball tonight, even especially in the first half. The ball touched his hands, and he moved it so quick. He moved it. Monty's supposed to have this .5 offense, while Grimes was doing it in .3. He was touching his hands, and he was just moving it so quick, and it's valuable for a team to have a guy that can move the ball like that. But he is a great and tough defender. We still got to witness that. It's just that when is the shot going to come back? It is questioned, about his knee. When your knee's hurt, when something's wrong with your legs, it certainly impacts, especially a 3-point shot. You get your power from your legs. I can watch kids shoot all the time, and when they shoot an air ball, it's because they didn't bend their knees. And so when your knees are injured, but we don't know if that's it. He's taking off a lot of time. Hopefully he bounces back and gets it going, and because the good thing we have with him is we don't have to re-sign him or extend him at the end of this year. I'm sure there'll be talks. I'm sure we'll probably offer him an extension, but if I hear him, I wouldn't accept it because he's playing bad. So right now, he's shooting bad, and so. But next year, so he's under contract again still for next season, and then at the end of next season, he'll be a restricted free agent, so we still can um, offer him if we can match any team that gives him an offer sheet. And in the NBA, there's not a lot of teams with money, and a lot of teams, it's real sad for players. They have this thing about restricted free agency, but it's really not a thing because very, very, very seldom do players ever get even offered an offer sheet, and teams are not going to when the Pistons have lots of money. If the Pistons like the guy, there's no sense like when we didn't want to sign Cam from the Nets, that we thought that we might want him, and he played for money, and um, he was a restricted free agent, and so but we kind of knew that the Nets were going to match any offer so we didn't offer him anything. So anyway, I think that's the same situation is going to be with Grimes and Fontecchio, but we'll have to see. It is a little game about how much do you offer those guys. So Cade had a good game tonight. So Caden Duren was 20 and 10, 20 points, and only 8 shots and 10 rebounds. And Cade was 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. So he is doing that. He is one of the top players in the NBA, especially in the second half of the season. But he started out on fire. He was 5 for his first 7, and then he was 3 for 13. But things happen. I've heard people discuss that, at the end of the shot clock or at the end of the quarters, that if a player launches a half-court shot, that it should not count against their shooting percentage, and I agree. Of course, if it goes in, it counts. But I think some players intentionally take an extra dribble, so because they know that it's not going to be a good percentage shot. And K took two terrible shots, but he just had to hoist it, and he had a guy all over him. But there was no other choice because the shot clock was about to expire, and it just happened to be in his hand right at the end. So anyway, we'll go through the stats. And Fontecchio, 37 minutes. He led the team in minutes, so obviously Monty likes him. 7 for 11. That's an awesome percentage. 3 for 7 on threes, which is still solid. 8 rebounds, like that rebounding, and 3 assists. 2 steals, 1 block, and only 2 turnovers. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's a fabulous game, all around game, and he deserved those minutes. He had 17 points. So Stu, 34 minutes, 4 for 9, 2 for 7. Stu never gets up a lot of shots. He very rarely ever takes 10 shots, and usually his shots are like around 8. But he was 2 for 7 on threes, 2 for 2 on free throws, 6 rebounds, 1 block, 12 points, plus 13, and that's a solid game. And so again, I like Stu. I think Stu is a solid contributor and that he's a valuable player to have on the team. I just wouldn't start him still, but he's still a good player. Duren, 30 minutes, 8 for 10, 4 for 6 from the line. He's been shooting really well from the line for the last month or two, but 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 3 turnovers. Too many turnovers for a guy that handles the ball as much as he does. He's got to get a little bit better handle, but we're going to live with it, and we want him to get better, and we want him to experiment some. But he scored 20 points, and he was plus 9. Cade was 32 minutes, 8 for 20. Like I said, he started out really, really good, and then he had to take some tough shots, but he was only 2 for 10 on threes, which his percentage had been, among the best in the NBA since the All-Star game. But he took 2 of those 10 were desperation. So he really should be 2 for 8, which still isn't good, but he wouldn't have been 2 for 10. 4 for 4 from the line, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 block, 3 turnovers, which I'm good. Again, I always, oh no, I'm sorry. Cade only had 2 turnovers. So that's even great. If Cade has 3 turnovers, it's okay. If he has 2 turnovers, it's great. So 22 points, plus 20 by far. He had the highest plus minus. The next closest one was Stu was with plus 13. So Ivey, it's a mystery to me. He Monty put him through the ringer this whole preseason, not starting him, not playing minutes, and he played good. And sometimes I felt like he didn't play as good. That his confidence was shaken by the fact that he was being jerked around so bad. And now he's getting every opportunity in the world. So I can't blame Monty for what he's doing now. So um, he had 33 minutes. He gets to play a lot of minutes, 8 for 20, and he gets a lot of shots at the rim. But from on threes, he was 0 for 6. So he had that one game. Other than that, he's really really bad for the last month almost. So I don't know why. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 steal, only 1 turnover. So he had a good solid game, 12 points plus 8. But he's just got to get that 3-point shot again. He, like I said with Asar, you almost, as good as he can drive, you might want to stop shooting unless you really get it wide open. And he's still, again, he's not extending his arm and he's not holding his follow through high and he's not getting full extension on his follow through. So that's the secret. But our guy James Wiseman, the last 5 games, he's averaging 10 points, 7 rebounds, shooting 76%. And Monty said he's handled his situation better than anybody on the team. And what he meant by that is that, we'll go 3 games in a row where he didn't get to play at all, or maybe even more than that, or he'll get to play 13 minutes or whatever. But he's just handled it. He just comes to practice, he works his butt off, and when he gets a chance to play, he works as hard as he can. And it's obviously he's getting better in a lot of different areas. But tonight, another strong game. He didn't even score in the first half, but in the second half, he was 4 for 6. So he played 18 minutes, 4 for 6, 2 for 2 from the line, 9 rebounds in only 18 minutes. So, that's something. So, I mean, Duren'S one of the best rebounders in the league. He played 30 minutes and had 10 rebounds. But Wiseman played 12 minutes less and had 9 rebounds. 1 assist, 1 block, 10 points plus 8. Again, Fournier, and I agree with Monty. He's played him 11 minutes. He was 1 for 4. If he gets in there and plays 11 minutes and he is 2 for 4, that's the hard thing about a guy coming off the bench. If you're 2 for 4, you're amazing. If you're 1 for 4, you're bad. And so he had 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 2 steals in only 11 minutes. But 3 rebounds, 3 points, plus 2. And Grimes, 21 minutes. And I was hoping he'd end up getting to play more minutes. And he still might. There's a chance. There's still a little bit of time here. I'm so grateful that he's healthy because I was just worried that they were just going to have him sit out the rest of the year. And he should sit out if he's injured. But 21 minutes, 1 for 8. It was a dunk. And so 0 for 6 on threes, 4 for 4 from the line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, only 1 turnover, 6 points. So he's a good player, but he's not going to be good, if he can't shoot the 3. And that's, so he's got to do that. So Sasser, here's what we're talking about. He's either good or bad. He's either really bad or tonight he was really good. He played 20 minutes, 3 for 4, 1 for 1 on threes, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, which wasn't good, but 9 points plus 4. So hopefully he gets on a little roll here. So I wanted to talk about this real quick. I didn't mention it. I meant to mention it last game. I have a brother that lives in Texas, so he's a Luka fan. I have also a friend in Texas that's a big Luka fan that has season tickets for the Mavs. But they left Luka in, and I was joking. I try to give him a hard time because they left him in. The game was a blowout, and they were leaving him in just to get 1 more rebound so he could be the first player in NBA history to have 5 triple doubles where he scored 35 or more points. The only player in history that's done that. And they left him in. So Cade is in the game still at the end of the game, and Cade has got like 33 points and 9 rebounds and 10 assists or whatever assists he had. 11 assists maybe. And then we intentionally foul the guy to stop the clock so that we can take him out of the game instead of trying to leave him in there to get one more rebound so that he can get a triple double. But anyway, it's not a big deal either way. But so Bridges, Miles Bridges, former Spartan, has had some trouble with the law and some people. He's going to be a free agent, but he had 24 points, which is good, but he was 9 for 24. So we really did a good job on him. And they had Brandon Miller. That's, you can go back. I like the fact that I did this podcast. So when I say something about who I would like to have drafted or who I didn't, there's proof. There's audio and video proof of me saying that I wanted Brandon Miller ahead of Scoot Henderson. Does that mean that Scoot Henderson might not end up being better? No, it doesn't. But Miller is terrific. But why I wanted him is he was 6'9" and he could shoot the lights out. And we need guys that are 6'9" and can shoot lights out. Scoot was barely 6 foot and questionable shooter. And I said at the time that I would maybe live to regret it, but I was so convinced that we would get one of the top 3 picks in the draft because our odds are that we had almost a 50% chance of getting one of the top 3 picks. So I thought we would get Brandon Miller or Wemby. That's who I really wanted. But anyway, I want to thank you for listening. I appreciate your loyalty to me and your time, all the time that you listen. Please be the reason that somebody feels cared for, and go Pistons.